Okay, Year 10, welcome to your video tutorial. Today we are going to look at factorising, which, if you want the too long didn't read, simply means to put back into brackets. You're going to have a little, it should be revision, and we're going to have a look, at how we do it. Okay, factorising is the opposite of expanding, okay? We put back into brackets, basically. And how we go about putting it back into brackets is we put everything that's common amongst our terms on the outside of the brackets, and we put what we multiply it by to get the product of the terms on the inside. So let's have a look. Now, these are the revision ones from last year, similar to the expanding ones that I did last lesson. You don't have to write them down if you think you already get it. 5x plus 15. Okay, we need to find something that's common amongst 5x and 15. There's no pronumerals that are common, so I know that it's only going to be a number on the outside of my brackets. Okay, they're not the same number, but there will be a factor that goes into both of them. It's important that when we find a factor, we find the highest common one, okay, because we're trying to simplify it by putting into brackets. Okay, what's a number that goes into 5 and 15? Well, 1 does, that's not helpful, 2 doesn't, 3 doesn't, 4 does. Okay, 5 does. Okay, 5 goes into 5 goes into 5 once and into 15 3 times, so 5's going to be on my outside. Then imagine I'm trying to expand my brackets. What do I have to multiply this 5 by to get an answer of 5x? Well, x. What do I have to multiply 5 by to get an answer of positive 15? Plus 3. So 5x plus 15 factorised or put back into brackets looks like this. 5 brackets x plus 3. Okay? Let's look at the other example over here, okay? 6a minus 15b. Now, there's no pronumerals in common amongst them, okay? So I know, again, it's only going to be a number on the outside of my brackets, okay? Let's look at numbers that go into 6 and goes into 15, both of my terms. 1, yep. 2 goes into 6, nut, for 15. 3, yep, 3 goes into 6 and 15. 4, nut, 5, nut, 6. 6 doesn't go into 15. Okay, 6 doesn't go into 15, which means the highest is going to be 3. And now I need to ask myself, what do I multiply 3 by to get an answer of 6a? Well, 3 by 2 is 6, and then I've got an a left over. Then the next thing I need to know is, what do I multiply 3 by to get an answer of 15b? And it's a negative, so it's going to be a negative there, and it's 3 times 5 is 15, and a b on the end. Okay, so guys, finding that highest common factor is really, really important, and it's the main way we put things back into brackets. These are the kind of examples that you guys are going to do, okay? Let's have a look at this one here. So we look at our terms. 8y plus 12xy. Okay, the plus is the important thing as well. 8y plus 12xy. I notice there's a pronumeral that's in both of them. I've got a y here and a y here. So before I begin, I'll draw my brackets. I definitely know there's going to be a y there at the end. Okay, so that has to go on the outside of the brackets. Okay, there's an x in the second term, but not an x in the first term, so it doesn't count. Okay, now I need to know, what's the highest number that goes into 8 and 12? Well, 1 does. 2 does, yes. 3 doesn't go into 8, even though it goes into 12. Yep, 4 goes into both of them. 5, no. 6, no. 7, no. 8 goes into 8, but doesn't go into 12. So the highest that I got was 4. Okay. Now I ask myself, what do I multiply 4y by to get 8y? Okay. Start with your numbers first. What do I multiply 4 by to get 8? 2. I've already got a y there, so that's that one done. Okay. Now I need to ask myself, what do I multiply 4y by to get a plus 12x? Well, I know it's going to be a plus something because it's a positive. 4 multiplied by what is 12? 3. Yep, 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. 4 multiply, and now I've got a y on the outside, so I'm going to get a y product there. That's good. What am I missing? I'm missing an x. Okay, taking it one step at a time. Now, if you want to check and see if you've got it right, if you don't know if you've got it right, okay, factorising is the opposite of expanding, isn't it? So why don't I just try and expand it? 4y multiplied by 2 becomes 8y. 4y multiplied by plus 3x becomes plus 12xy. Okay, so that's a really quick way that you can check to see if you've got it right. Let's have a look at this one. 4x squared minus 10x. Okay, so this is the second time, the first time in factorising that we're seeing a square. Remember, x squared means x multiplied by x. Okay, so there is a pronumeral that I have in this term that I also have in that term. I've got 2 x's in the first term and 1 x in the second term. So when I draw my brackets, I know there's definitely going to be an x on the outside. Okay, now let's have a look. 4 and 10. Highest number that goes into 4 and 10. 1 does, yes. 2 does, yes. 3, no. 4 doesn't go into 10, so 2 it is. Okay, so 2x goes on the outside of my brackets. And I ask myself, what do I multiply 2x by to get 4x squared? Well, 2 multiplied by what is 4? 2 times 2 is 4. How do I get from x to x squared? I multiply by itself again. Okay? Now, the next thing I ask myself is, what do I multiply 2x by to get negative 10x? Well, it's going to be a negative, and I've got an x already, so it's going to be negative 5. Okay, so that thing that, guys, there to just take mind of is that x multiplied by x was x squared, so I need 1 on the inside and 1 on the outside. And making sure, a big mistake people make is they write 5x there. Okay, remember, don't double do it, okay? Be very careful. And if you want to check, try expanding your brackets once you've factorised. Okay, this one's the last one that's a little bit different. You'll notice there's a negative sign there, and I'm sorry, I apologise, they're slightly different, but there's another negative sign there. Okay, so the first thing that's going to be in common with these two numbers, a common part, is that there's going to be a negative. Okay, that's what those two have in common. Remember, things that are common go on the outside. Okay, and there is an x squared over here and an x in the second term, which means that x is also going to be a common thing. Okay, I don't know my number yet, so I've left a little gap for that. Okay, and I've drawn my brackets. Highest number that goes into 10 and 8. 1 does, yep. 2 does, yep. 3 does. 3 does, nope. 4 doesn't, nope. 5 doesn't, yeah, 5 goes into 10, not 18. 6 goes into 18, not 10. 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's looking like 2. Okay, see how I counted all the way up? I did my thinking out loud. So negative 2x goes on the outside of my brackets. Okay, and I ask myself, what do I multiply negative 2 by, x by, to get negative 10x squared? Let's deal with our numbers first. What do I multiply negative 2 by to get negative 10? I'll give you a hint. It is 5, but remember it's a positive 5. A negative and a negative make a positive. A negative, like negative 2, and a positive 5 will make a negative. Okay, be really careful with your signs. Okay, and now I've got an x on here, but I need to get to x squared, so it's 5x. Okay, then I need to ask myself, what do I multiply negative 2x by to get negative 18x? Let's deal with our numbers first. Negative 2 multiplied by what is negative 18? Okay, and it's actually a positive 9. Okay, it's a positive 9 because my answer becomes a negative. And a negative and a positive is a negative. Okay, so, and I've got an x on the outside, so that covers my x on the 18x. Okay, so the answer there, guys, for this one is negative 2x, 5x plus 9. Always, if you want to check it, just expand them.